This episode of Ian vs. Daddybones is dedicated to the life of Virgil Chastain.
Fuck Ian Daddybones. Fuck Twin Widow, whatever the hell it is. No one gives a shit about you, Ian. Everyone hates you. Fuck off.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a banger and you're all invited. Share with friends and I'll see you later. Bring everyone, invite my haters. Throw your hands in the fucking air. Let's push a cripple down a flight of stairs. Got new shit right for your ears. My Hadouken is downright fierce. Rock out with my cock out. Jump around, I got your shout outs. I'm Daddybones, no need to panic. Talking riddles like a schizophrenic.
Welcome back. It's another exciting episode of Ian vs. Daddybones. I am Ian Daddybones. I'd like to welcome everybody to the show. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook right now, hey everybody, what's up? Thank you for checking out the show. As always, I got a special high five and a nuck dap to all my Patreon subscribers supporting the brand for $3 a month. Get access to bonus content, the Original Geeks podcast, and you get your name in the credits simply for throwing me $3 a month. It's fucking fresh. You should check it out. But today on the show, I just want to spend some time talking about my friend Virgil. As you may have noticed, if you made it this far into the show already, I started the episode way different than I normally do with the whole today on Ian versus Daddybones. Normally I'd be like, hey, today on Ian versus Daddybones, we're talking about X-Men 97. And I didn't want to do that because it's been a very rough, it's been a very couple of angry, upset, cyclone of emotions right now. This past week, last week, by the time you're watching this, Monday, I came to do the show to talk about Doc Ock and Spider-Man, and my memory card was nowhere to be found, so I had to do a Facebook Live. And I opened up Doc Ock and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and then when I got home, eventually I found the memory card, and I'm like, you know what, fuck that, I want to redo the episode. Going live wasn't good enough, especially after finding out the video's only going to be up and available for a month before Facebook chooses to delete it. So, I wanted to redo the episode on Tuesday, so I did the episode where it was Spider-Man and everything, and that's up on the YouTube. I went home, edited down the episode, called it a night. Wednesday, I did my normal routine in the morning. Wednesday, I take my wife to work, but my wife and I grab payroll, and then we take it to work and do paychecks, and I wind up doing my errands and running around with my 3-year-old after I drop my wife off. So, Sadie and I did what we had to do. Came back to the house, hanging out with Sadie, giving my daughter lunch, and then I lay my daughter down for a nap. And when I lay my daughter down for a nap, I decided to watch the new episode of X-Men 97 because the new episodes drop on Disney Plus. And normally if I'm going to talk about a TV show or a movie, I'll save that shit directly for the Original Geeks podcast and give it to the Patreon subscribers. But you know, it all ties into everything because Wednesday, lay my daughter down for a nap, watch X-Men 97, and I gotta say, this was the 5th episode of X-Men 97, and with X-Men 97 coming to Disney Plus, so far, like I said, we've got 5 episodes. So the first episode felt like a reunion, getting familiar with old faces again. You know, and episodes 2 and 3 kind of got the season started on the path that they plan on going. Episode 4 kind of felt like a throwaway episode because it was Jubilee and Sunspot, and they wound up going to Mojo World and whatnot through a video game, and that was it. That felt like it had nothing to do with the regular season. But the 5th episode was the one episode before we get to the mid-season, right? So this was the one episode that completely flipped everything about X-Men 97 and where they might be going, because right now it's question marks. We don't know where it's going. But I'm not going to flat out spoil the episode, other than the fact that I'm going to say some people got killed in this episode, and some of the people have been around since the original episode, so it's kind of like a holy shit. And I'm like watching this gripping episode of X-Men. I'm like, wow, the series is really getting deep right now. And then the X-Men episode was over. This time my daughter was asleep for a nap, so I'm like, okay, she's sleeping. I just absorbed the new X-Men episode, so I'm going to go think about that for a bit, and I'm going to go be productive around my house, pick up and whatnot. And so I'm like cleaning my house and shit, and then I get a phone call from a friend of mine who anybody around us calls him Magic. And my buddy Magic calls me, and Magic was an absolute wreck. And I'm like, what's up? Are you okay? What's going on? Magic tells me that yesterday, Tuesday, while walking home from work, our friend Virgil was struck by a vehicle that was driven by a 17-year-old kid. Now, that's all I know, and that's all I got from Magic. And Magic followed up with, he's in critical condition, it's not looking good, and he was an absolute fucking wreck. And for as long as I've known Magic, I mean, my oldest, Julia, is 23 years old. Magic's known Julia since she was 3. You know what I mean? Maybe even 2, but I'm pretty sure it was 3. So, like, Magic's known Julia for the past 2 years and has been seeing my kids grow up. And I don't see him ever... I've never seen him that... I mean, I've seen him upset before, but it's very rare, okay? Instead of me just dragging it out. So, he was very concerned, obviously, and he was filling me in with everything, and my brain's just soaking up everything, and I'm like, oh my God, holy shit, you know what I mean? Because, like, back in the day, when I was working at Security Mutual, which is an insurance company in Binghamton, New York, like, I got hired at Security Mutual when I was 23, you know what I mean? So, I was, like, a temp at Security Mutual for, like, 3.5 years, and then I got hired full-time, and I worked in a call center for the customer service representatives who answered the phone calls for all the insurance policy holders. And so, like, I was pretty much errand boy, bat boy for the team in the call center, because, like, if somebody called this person and they wanted beneficiary forms, I'd do the template letter and send them out the beneficiary forms. Hey, this guy wants to cash surrender his policy. So, long story short, Virgil was like the new guy that got hired in the call center. And Virgil was the new guy on the team of people who I did work for. So I would start doing work for Virgil. So Virgil would be the one that would assign me work, like, hey, this person needs beneficiary forms. This person needs a fucking dividend history. This person needs application for a cash surrender or customer service request form or all sorts of shit like that where they need paperwork mailed to them. So, like, you know, I work with Virgil, like, every day. Like, this was, like, back in, like, 2005, 2006, like, when Amber and I got married. And the thing is, like, you know, I lost my job at Security Mutual in 2010, at the end of the summer in 2010. Long story, kind of fucked up. I got my wisdom teeth pulled and fucking... I got fired after coming back from having my wisdom tooth pulled with my mouth all full of gauze. Like, well, are you on Vicodin? Yeah, I'm on Vicodin. They give me painkillers. What the fuck? I'm not supposed to take that shit at work? It says take 2 times a day. So I'm either taking my Vicodin at work or I'm staying the fuck home. You make up your mind. So, anyway, I used to do work for Virgil, along with other people. And Virgil and I, you know, had friends at work. And one of the friends at work, I mean, when he did eventually get hired, was our friend Jinx. And for those who know me really well and are a fan of Daddybones and everything I've done, you know where I'm going with this. Jinx and I started the Original Geeks podcast. Okay, if it wasn't for the show on my fucking t-shirt, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now, opening toys. So Jinx and I started the Original Geeks podcast in 2007, and Jinx was very important and integral, and basically he was the CPU of the computer that was helping create the Original Geeks podcast. You know, there wouldn't be a reason for me and Jinx to sit on our ass and talk about our favorite comic books, movies, and all sorts of nostalgic shit if we weren't hanging out on the regular, and that's what we normally did in our free time and shit. So basically, by the time Virgil came into the mix, Jinx and I just started the Original Geeks podcast, and you know, we would always have a blast at like Christmas parties, and like even during the Christmas Eve, like they'd have the employee Christmas party, but then they had the employee children's Christmas party. So like when Julia was like, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, I'd be taking Julia to like the Security Mutual children's Christmas party, and Virgil would bring his 2 boys because he had 2 sons, and you know, and that's what makes me think about it the most is when I was growing up, trying to be a responsible father, doing that daddy grind of you're a single dad, you're a piece of shit, the state makes you pay your support and everything, and all you are is a child support check, whether, you know what I mean? And Virgil was one of those hardworking dads that was always busting his ass to provide for his kids, and I got so many fucking memories of like Virgil and I like just catching up in the morning, you know, like it's one of those type of things where it's like, hey Virg, here's your letter, and then hey, I'm shooting the shit with him for like 10 minutes before I go back to my desk and start doing my work again. So like in those like little mini breaks at work where I was shooting the shit and whatnot and still being productive, you know, that's when he would fill me in on stuff going on, like whether or not his kids were behaving themselves or getting into trouble. He'd like share stories or something, and Virgil was into video games, and so were his boys, and Virgil was always, we were like sharing stories and shit. I got memories of like telling Virgil like, oh, I just grabbed this, and this for Julia for Christmas this year, and he's like, oh, that's sick. I just wound up grabbing my one son this for a PlayStation, or my other son got this for his Xbox, and we were always telling each other and getting excited about, you know, getting ready to be Santa Claus and provide Christmas presents to our kids and shit. And then at the same time we're working in the office, you know, that's when the MCU was getting off the ground. Like when the first Iron Man movie, the first Incredible Hulk movie, the second Iron Man movie, you know, when them shits were hitting theaters, like that was our water cooler. Like me, Jinx, and Virgil would always be like talking about MCU movies coming out and getting excited, and it's always like who gets the new information first to tell the other guys, oh my god, I heard so-and-so is going to be in it. And it's just, wow. You know what I mean? Because it's looking at it, like I lost my job in 2010 working at that place. And it like seems like yesterday, but it was 14 fucking years ago. You know what I mean? Holy shit. You know, and it's like at that time when, you know, like I'm saying, Julia was like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, 7 years old at the time I'm working there. Jinx became a father while we were working there, and now Jinx's daughter's almost fully grown and getting ready to start college soon. Like, fucking mind blown, you know what I mean? And that's another thing too, like going back to the kids, like, you know, I have memories of just like working with Virgil, even though it was for a short period of time. You know, there was only a couple of pictures we got to take. But that picture's so important right now because Jinx didn't have that picture of me, him, and Virgil. So I was able to re-download that shit, touch it up in my phone editor, adjust the brightness and the contrast, and try to make that picture from 14 years ago look a hell of a lot better right now. And I did that to the best of my ability, but I'm getting ahead of myself, especially with the whole situation. Like, Magic called me, let me know Virgil was in critical condition. And I told him to keep me posted throughout the day. And from what I understand, the last time I talked to Magic on Wednesday was almost midnight. And from what I understand, they were getting ready to call time, but they were waiting for the family to get back. But unfortunately, Thursday was when I got the news that Virgil passed away. And it fucking sucks because it makes me think of when I worked at that place, because me, Jinx, Virgil, at one point going down Main Street, Court Street to Main Street in Binghamton, New York, at one point we all lived off a different side street going further down the road where we had our apartments. You know, at one point, like, I lived on Chapin Street and had an apartment, and that's where I was living with when my wife eventually moved in with me before we got married and whatnot. But I know Virgil had his place, and then Jinx has been in his place for years and whatnot, and we all walked. Because I was in a position because New York State's a motherfucker. So New York State loves suspending my driver's license whenever the hell they could. So half the time I didn't have a car just because it was always a guessing game whether or not my license was active or it was or if it was suspended and fucking bull. And it wasn't nothing to do with my driving. It was just basically child support, getting a hold of my employer and getting everything up to date. It was only clusterfuck, but I don't have to deal with that shit no more. But anyway, I had to walk from my apartment to work. Walk from work to home. Jinx did the same thing. Virgil did the same thing. And like I said, that Court Street to Main Street distance, journey, path, all of us have walked that same path so many times over the fucking years. And Binghamton drivers are Binghamton drivers. And, you know, there's times where it's like, you know, you wait for the crossing light, and sometimes if there's nobody there and you fucking go, and half the time if, you know, someone's driving like an asshole, it's like, hit me, I fucking dare you, I dare you. You know what I mean? And for years, walking to work, going home, walking to work, going home. Virgil's walked that path for years, and unfortunately on that day, he was struck by a vehicle that was driven by a 17-year-old kid. Right now, like, let's put it this way, the news hasn't really given an update to say that he passed away, but at this point, he had his hero walk last night at the hospital because he's a hero. He donated his organs, so for that, salute, you know. And it's not like a hero's walk is something that you want to go out of your way to, like, take out your phone and take a picture, but there was a picture taken last night of pretty much everybody showing up to show support for Virgil, and Jinx actually wound up sending that picture to me, and yeah, it just really sucks because it's just, I mean, out of nowhere, so unexpected, and it's like, I'm about to talk about X-Men 97 in a moment, and I'm out of the corner of my eye keeping an eye on my countdown clock, but like, I don't know. And that's the thing too, it's like, I don't know, things have been kind of weird. I don't know if it's a me thing, I don't know if it's an other people thing, but a lot of me doing Ian versus Daddybones has been a positive way of dealing with my depression since my best friend died 3 years ago. You know what I mean? And it's been really tough moving on, trying to move on since Pete passed away. And, you know, I've done everything in my power to not go dark, let the depression really get to me to where it affects me overall, if that makes sense. Like, Pete's death isn't driving me to drugs. It's not driving me to anything negative. And even for like the positives, I haven't drank alcohol in 27 months. You know what I mean? And I don't plan on drinking again. You know, I've been working out for the past 3 years, and you know, daily trying to do something, at least get something in. So it's like, it's been, and on top of buying and collecting the toys, I've been like keeping myself busy. Plus you add a 3-year-old into the mix, so it's like I got a toddler right now that's always keeping me on my toes. But it sucks, you know? And the whole thing is, with basically what I'm getting at is, I owe Jinx an apology. I haven't exactly been fair, and maybe I exactly didn't know everything that was going on, but I don't know. There was a time we used to hang out every day, and then there was a time where it was like we stopped hanging out, and then next thing I know, it was like a few months, and then it became a few years, and then it just, I don't know. On one hand, at times I felt like I kind of got banished or whatnot, like, and it's not necessarily a Jinx thing, because I flat out told him this. Like, it's not a you thing, it's just people in general, sometimes. Because it's not you, it's like so many people that I feel wrote me off, you know what I mean? Like, I got the fucking cheese touch, and I don't understand it, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I'm not on drugs, I'm not out getting arrested or causing all sorts of bullshit, but at the same time, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, so to a degree, I get that shit, but I don't understand that shit, but at the same time, I'm kind of like Weird Barbie, I'm gonna fucking own that shit. So, you know, if anything, I don't care if some people think I got the cheese touch and shit, because I'll stuff that cheese down my pants. But what I'm getting at is, he sent me a message and let me know everything that was going on with Virgil. And I told him that Magic let me know yesterday and has been keeping me posted. Not being rude, just simply responding and replying. And, you know, and then the more I thought about it, at one point I deleted some people off Facebook just because I'm like, well, they're not going out of their way to keep in touch, so it's kind of like a daily reminder that I don't mean shit to some people. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I put Jinx in that category sometimes, and maybe that was on me. I apologize. But at the same time, I don't know. Some days I really needed my friends, and I felt like my friends weren't there. You know what I mean? Like, not trying to be a bitch about it, but I don't know. Sometimes I need somebody, and if they're not there, it's kind of like, well, fuck. But long story short, I sent Jinx a friend request, and he basically sent me a message and was like, why aren't we friends no more? And to be honest with you, I messaged him back, and I'm like, you know what? It's complicated. I don't know where to begin, but at the same time, with everything going on with Virgil, I don't think now's the time. But just know, my heart is breaking for you and Magic right now. I miss the fuck out of you. I love you. I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you. Because that's what I take away from all of this. That walk to and from work, at any given time, over the past 19 years, whether I'm living downtown still, or I already got married and moved, or Jinx and Virgil are still working downtown and having to make that trek. Now, I know Jinx drives, but I don't know how often he drives to work. I don't know. I don't see him like that, like I said. But at any given time over the past 19 years, and including Magic, because he walks too, he doesn't drive. Any one of us. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You know, it really fucking sucks what happened to Virgil. And I seriously hope, because that kid that hit him fled the scene. He was later apprehended. So now you just fucking hit somebody, but you left the scene of the accident. Now you just turned it into a fucking crime. And on top of that, you killed our friend. So this kid is fucked. So then anything that happens to him is going to happen to him. But at the same time, like, it just really fucking sucks because, like, Virgil was like I said, he was a hard-working dad. He loved his kids. And with everything I've learned in the past couple of days, he just became a grandfather in February. And that blows my mind because my Julia became a granddaughter 5 years ago. My granddaughter's going to be 6. And, you know, my granddaughter's absolutely amazing. And it's weird. It's like another level. It's like a sub-level of being dad. Like, I'm her grandfather, but I'm not her dad. But I'm you know what I mean? She's like my little buddy. And, yeah, like, it just fucking sucks that Virgil's not going to be able to see his grandchild grow up. And, you know, I think about his boys because, like, they don't know me. You know what I mean? They don't know me like that. But I have memories of seeing Virgil show up at Christmas parties, at work, with his children. You know what I mean? And even in times where, like, I don't know, Virgil had to leave work earlier, come back, or it was a day off or something, and Virgil had to bring his son with him to grab something. So it's like, I remember seeing his kids, you know, here and there at times when our children would be present for work-related functions, you know, company picnics and shit. And now they're adults, you know, they were older than Julia at the time when he and I were talking about our kids. And, yeah. I mean, they're adults, and like I said, his one son's a father who made him a grandfather, and you know, he raised his kids. He definitely was a good dude, and I know I spent like 30 minutes talking about him, but the reality is, I'm talking about memories from like 18 years ago, working with him for like 3 to 4 years. And he was a good dude. He really was. And at the end of the day, Jinx was a lot closer to him than I was. Magic was a lot closer to him than I was. And, you know, Virgil was always cool as fuck to me. He was always chill with me. And it's one of those type of things where I wish I got to hang out with him more, you know? All of those guys. Like, I really wish I got to participate in some of the festivities years ago, but it's one of those type of things, you know. You start work, you leave a job, you get another job, you don't hang out with your regular coworkers as much as you do, but I still keep in touch with Magic. Jinx and I have been talking for the past couple of days, and I mean, there ain't no issues. I don't have any heat with Jinx. I don't have any beef with Jinx. There's never been beef with Jinx. My only thing, looking at the overall big picture, is we were killing it with Original Geeks Podcast. And I really wish together we could have taken it to the next level, because I kind of took it to the next level without him. I really wish he was in his chair, and unfortunately I had to replace him with a fucking asshole. So at the end of the day, I really miss Jinx, and told him flat out, you know, you need me, I'm always fucking here. Because personally, this sucks. Like, I'm here for Jinx and Magic, so if they're watching this right now, you know how to get at me, you always get at me. But most importantly though, I do owe Jinx an apologize. I do owe Jinx an apology. I don't know, sometimes when you're thinking or overthinking, you really don't know where shit's going sometimes, and it's weird how life works. Like, when Magic called me Wednesday, hearing that Virgil got hit by a car was like, one of the last things. I mean, it's not like, hey buddy, what's going on? Did random thing happen to our buddy? You know what I mean? You don't, that's not how life works. And it was just fucking crazy. Like, get a call from Magic, find out about Virgil. It gets worse. But Jinx and I have been talking again for the past 2 days. It's fucking weird. But rest in peace, Virgil. You were a great dude. You were a wonderful father. And your friends are seriously gonna miss you. You will not be forgotten. Alright, we're back. Let's put some smiles on some faces. Today, I'm going to be talking about X-Men 97 because this show was announced like two and a half years ago during the pandemic. Disney announced that X-Men 97 was coming out and it was going to be a continuation of the 92 Fox X-Men series. And that series came out when I was in junior high, middle school. I was 13 years old. I was in 7th grade, and it was absolutely amazing because the X-Men were like becoming really popular again. Like, you had Uncanny X-Men, but then Jim Lee took over and they put out X-Men #1, which was a brand new series going forward. And Jim Lee's art style is Jim Lee's art style, and Jim Lee did this beautiful, banging, legendary cover for X-Men #1 that had multiple covers, multiple like extended pull-out covers, like it was just a big, long fucking tapestry of the X-Men, and Magneto was there, and y'all know what I'm talking about, the cover to X-Men #1. And X-Men 90, I called it X-Men 92, but the 92 X-Men series, the Fox X-Men series, to a degree, had that Jim Lee art style when it started airing. And from like 1992 to 1997, it was a staple for Fox Kids and Saturday mornings. And by the time it went into syndication, you had reruns during the week. And at some point, some channels had 92 X-Men 5 days a week and plus the weekend. And, for a lot of kids that grew up in the 90s, we have a lot of fond, vivid, nostalgic memories of the 92 Fox X-Men series. And it was kind of weird when they announced that, Disney is reviving this series and putting it on Disney Plus. And then as the 2 years went by, while we're waiting for like updates and any new additional information, we weren't getting anything until we started getting new information where they showed official, artwork and screenshots, images, but at the same time, they also rolled out the first wave of the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 figures. And previously on Ian versus Daddybones, now for the purpose of like Facebook Reels, and I did a video where I talked about Wolverine and the Gambit figure, and I opened up Magneto, and I talked about those 3 figures because with me collecting Masters of the Universe and working my way into other brands, I was able to acquire a lot of stuff that was like favorite shit. Like I got my Super Mario Brothers movie stuff. I got my WWE Elites, the Ninja Turtles, so the little stuff that I've added to my collection besides Masters of the Universe over the years, you know, once I started getting the Spider-Man figures and starting to, you know, dip my toes into Marvel Legends, because with Marvel Legends, it's like, where do you begin? You know what I mean? Start with a favorite and go from there. And with the new X-Men 97 cartoon coming out, and they having a line of X-Men 97 figures, you know, this was my perfect opportunity to start building, I don't want to say basic, but it was an opportunity for me to start building a basic X-Men team. You know what I mean? And these figures gave you, you know, with the waves, these figures gave you enough characters to at least get started doing that. Like, you have Wave 1 of Marvel Legends, and at this point I can say I have 4 out of the 6 figures with Wave 1. I got Magneto, Wolverine, Gambit that I already opened previously. I got Storm right here in the package. I need to get Rogue, and I need to get Bishop. And I was able to pre-order Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, and Cyclops from Big Bad Toy Store, but I wound up grabbing Storm and Executioner at Soundaround, which is a local used video games, movies, CDs. They take toys, you know what I mean? Trade-in store, really great company. They've honestly, Soundaround back in the day, I first went to Soundaround in like 1999 when they were in Endicott, and they were called Disco Round, and they were just like a little mom and pop shop set up, you know what I mean, in their first location, and then they moved to the Vestal Parkway and they had their store, and then over the years their store has expanded, and it's such at this point, Soundaround is basically considered a local landmark because everybody knows where it is, and it's fucking awesome. So if you're ever in the area, Binghamton, New York, Vestal, New York, and you collect toys, action figures, and even video games, movies, and CDs, definitely check out Soundaround. And while I was out Soundaround the other day, I wound up grabbing my daughter Sadie, her first Godzilla. They had the Playmates, Godzilla, X-Kong, the Frozen Empire, or the new one, whatever the hell it's called. They had the blue dorsal fin Heat Ray Godzilla at Soundaround, because what I did was I traded in some extra Mattel Creations figures I had, and I wound up getting store credit, and with the store credit, I originally had them set Bishop, Storm, and Executioner aside, but with the store credit that I had enough to get these two guys fully, but then I only had $15 left over, so they gave me a store credit slip. So when I went to see if they had like Goblin Queen or Rogue, they didn't. So I had the $15 store credit slip. They were selling the Godzilla for $15, so it was an easy trade. Grabbed that, brought it home for my daughter, and she is super happy. And I have it here with me today because I'm gonna take some pictures of it for the socials. But yeah, I am officially, I got 4 out of the 6 figures for Wave 1. Wave 2 is Magneto, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, Executioner, and Goblin Queen. Alright, little hiccup. I started coughing like crazy, so I just decided to edit that shit out. But yeah, I originally decided to start buying these because I just wanted to form a basic solid X-Men team. And then I got super geeked out because once I grabbed Wolverine and Gambit and Magneto, then I discovered that Jada Toys has a line of Street Fighter 2 figures coming out that are the same scale as the Marvel Legends, so they're the same height, size, everything. And I grabbed Ryu. I have Ken currently in my pile of loot, along with a dope-ass Rainbow Bright doll that I bought my daughter Sadie. I'm going to ship those once I get some more items added to my pile of loot, but I don't know what's going to be going in the pile yet. I got some pre-orders that I'm waiting on. But like I said, I just wanted to start grabbing I wanted to start building a small X-Men team, because now that they got the Street Fighter figures coming out, it'd be nice to do some have a little X-Men versus Street Fighter action going on that shelf, but I am not planning on opening all of these figures on that show today, unfortunately. I plan on being smart with my content creation, and I am going to be opening Cyclops today in memory of Virgil. The other figures I'm going to be opening up as Facebook Reels over the course of what's left of April. So let's go ahead and get this X-Men 97 Cyclops figure opened up. Because when the figures first got announced, like, the show hasn't even started yet. You know what I mean? So it's like they announced the first couple of figures, and the first wave of figures, the show hasn't started yet, and then next thing you know, they're announcing the second wave of figures, and it's like, dude, you haven't even aired the first episode yet. Like, can you guys chill with the figure drops? Because it's one of those type of things where it's like they're kind of spoiling shit. You know what I mean? Like, you haven't even fully talked about who's gonna be the villains and whatnot. Like, there wasn't a lot of information coming out in the beginning. They were kind of quiet, and it was hush, and everything was secret. And then they put out the first wave of figures. Where the hell's Storm? Yeah, you got the first wave of figures. So it's like you got 5 X-Men, 1 villain with Magneto, and then by the time they announce the second wave, we get 3 more X-Men, we get 2 villains, technically 3, because we got a variant of Magneto wearing a different outfit, and we don't know what's going on yet, because now we got 2 waves of action figures that are available before the series even started. Like, what the hell is up? And like I said, with the way X-Men 97 has worked, you know, the first episode was like high school reunion. You know, it's like, oh my god, I haven't seen you guys in years. You look fantastic. And then the second episode, you know, starts adding a little to the plot and moving it along. Because with the second episode, we're finding out that Jean Grey wasn't even Jean Grey. This Jean Grey was a clone. So where the fuck is the real Jean Grey? And then Jean Grey was pregnant, but you know, and then it got revealed that it was Madeline Pryor, and Mr. Sinister created her, and she's pregnant with Cyclops' baby, who is Baby Cable, and now, and you know what I mean? So, everybody that reads comics knows what the fuck is going on. But if you're new to all this and you're watching it for the first time, you're like, what the hell is going on right now? So, you know, they're starting to, with episodes 2 and 3, basically started moving the story along. Like I said, episode 4 kind of felt like a throwaway. You know what I mean? It was just Sunspot and Jubilee having an adventure with Mojo. And the 5th episode really just flips the bowl over, and everything just spilled everywhere. You know, you're like, holy shit, what a mess. How are you going to clean this up? And now we're at the mid-season, because they already aired a trailer for what's going to happen in the next episode, and I don't even want to talk about that yet, because I'm still trying to process some of the information that was shown in that trailer. But the one thing I can say is, with everything that I've seen in the 5 episodes of X-Men 97 that have come out, like, now I'm starting to see, okay, this is why Executioner got a figure. This is why Magneto is wearing this outfit. Because basically, that's the outfit Magneto wore when he went on trial, because they did the trial of Magneto for his crimes against humanity. And but they also say that in the last will of Professor X, he basically left control of the school and everything to Magneto. So Magneto is now the leader of the X-Men going forward in this series. So now the X-Men have to take orders from their most, their most famous villain and greatest threat ever since, they assembled as a team. And it just throws everything I don't want to say it throws everything everywhere, but it's like, it's definitely an adjustment for everybody. And like, and it's weird because like, there's always been like romantic feelings between Rogue and Gambit, but they can't ever act on it because of her mutant powers and she can't touch Remy, and you know what I mean? But Rogue starts falling for Magneto, which is weird because it's weird seeing them as like a couple, but for Rogue, she's able to touch Magneto because he's able to generate a protective magnetic field that keeps her from stealing his powers. So it's kind of like he's always got a magnetic body condom when it comes to Rogue. So she doesn't have to worry about nothing, but all it does is make Gambit jealous as fuck. And I will say with episode 5 of 97 X-Men, I'm a big fan of Ace of Base. They are one of my favorite guilty pleasure bands. You know what I mean? It's like hanging out with some like metal guy who's like covered in tattoos, and then out of nowhere he's like, I really love ABBA. ABBA put out some bangers. You know what I mean? I can kind of relate to that because I feel Ace of Base put out some bangers too. And there was a scene where Rogue and Magneto have to do a dance. And it's just, he's waiting for Rogue to show up to this inauguration ball. And then Ace of Base's Happy Nation plays, and then you look over and Rogue comes down the stairs, and such a great scene. But back to this figure, because I'm a little rambling at this point. I'm like super excited to be opening up this Cyclops figure. But basically, now that the series is airing, and now that I'm starting to see these other versions of characters, and even characters I'm unfamiliar with, like Executioner, even though I'm aware of the back in the day story Executioner song. You got Executioner, you got Goblin Queen, you got this, now that I know is the headmaster of the academy, you know what I mean? The leader of the X-Men, Magneto. And Executioner's role in the series, I mean, he appeared in like, I believe the second episode, but he winds up shooting Storm with a dart. He shoots Storm with his ammunition that basically nullifies and cancels out her mutant powers. So Storm can't control the weather anymore. And now I know why Executioner got a figure. You know, so it's like he comes with the gun that is responsible for her losing her powers. But as I don't know what Wave 3 is going to be of X-Men 97. I mean, my honest opinion, if you got Wave 3 coming out, and there's going to be 6 spots for figures who do not have, for characters who do not have figures yet, they should be making a Jubilee figure. They should be making a Sunspot figure. Beast should get a figure. Mr. Sinister is in this, so I'd like to think Mr. Sinister should be getting a figure. But, you know, you got 2 extra spots, and I mean, it'd be easy if you just want to make Mystique a figure or make Sabretooth a figure. But I think a Cable figure should be in that next wave. At least Cable and Jubilee and Beast are 3 that I'm really hoping have a figure in the next wave. let's look over this Cyclops figure. There we go. We got Scott Summers, 6 inches tall. He's got his double knees. He's got the roller rocker feet with the ankles that slide up and down. His boot rotates. His thigh twists in the middle like it's supposed to. He's got his legs on the peg. Legs move like they're supposed to. He's got double elbows. He's got the butterfly pecs, biceps, shoulders. So super dope for posability. And with the Cyclops, he comes with extra hands and he comes with an extra head. And I'm really excited to put on this extra head because this is one of the reasons why I was super excited to get this Cyclops figure. The one I had as a kid had a little switch in the back because if you push the switch, his eyes lit up. So because he had a light bulb and his eyes lit up to mimic his optic blast. But now, thanks to the magic of modern action figures, he has this alternate head. Alright, is that on tight enough? I always get confused sometimes with these freaking heads, whether or not sometimes I hear a pop and a click to let me know they're in place, other times not so much. Cyclops, I didn't exactly hear a click, but it seems to be snug. It's not falling off his neck peg as I hold him. But he comes with this alternate head because he comes with this badass effect that plugs right into his fucking face, where Cyclops is doing his optic blast. And that looks absolutely sick. Now, he does come with alternate hands. He's got 2 punching hands, and he's got 2 grabbing hands. But the hand that I'm really most eager to use is his alternate left hand, because his alternate left hand has, position this right, let's see if we can get this the way I need it to be. Come on, how the fuck is your arm going? I mean, it's not perfect, but once I fuck around with it more, get it to where it's right against his visor for his whole optic blast, you know what I mean? But, yeah, he looks absolutely sick. So he bent his fucking knee. See, that looks fucking sick. There he goes. Absolutely fucking sick. Standing up with his optic blast. Fucking dope. Scott Summers, Cyclops, X-Men 97, Wave 2. These guys are dope. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have him facing off against Ryu throwing a fireball. That's gonna look super sick on a shelf. You know? So, that's gonna do it for this episode of the show. If you're interested, X-Men 97 figures, check your Targets, check your Walmarts, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Amazon. They're all over the fucking place. Some of them you're gonna have a hard time finding. I will say Goblin Queen is gonna be a bitch. I'm currently looking for a Goblin Queen myself, and it's funny because the reason everybody's going nuts about Goblin Queen, well, it's two reasons. A, when it comes to Goblin Queen, from what I understand, a couple of years ago, it could have been like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I'm not sure. I wasn't collecting Marvel Legends, so I don't even know what the crowdfund was. But all I know is Hasbro and Marvel Legends had a failed crowdfund that was supposed to include a Goblin Queen figure, okay? And it failed, so the Goblin Queen figure wasn't coming out. So when they revealed that a Goblin Queen figure was coming out in X-Men 97 Marvel Legends, people were pissed because people felt, Hasbro still has to make a buck somehow. They looked at it as Hasbro was being super cheap. Well, the crowdfund wasn't successful, and it was supposed to be an exclusive figure, but now we have a reason to put it out in stores, because some people are basically wondering if the crowdfund was successful and Goblin Queen did go into production, would that successful crowdfund even affect what's going on with X-Men 97, or is the Goblin Queen for X-Men 97 completely separate than the Goblin Queen that was supposed to be with the crowdfund? I have no idea. All I know is everybody seems to be wanting her really bad right now because she comes with little baby Cable. She comes with her little bundle of joy, little Nathan Summers, and yeah, so you got the half-naked Goblin Queen with baby Cable, and that's why everybody wants her. And it's funny because my Patreon subscriber Jim actually got at me today because I got at him yesterday because I read in a Masters of the Universe Facebook group that people who were able to order Duplico had their Duplicos shipped, and I told him that, hey man, check your email to see if your Duplico shipped. Some people are saying your Duplico showed up. So Jim got at me today while I was on my way home from work, letting me know that his Duplico safely arrived, and he went to Soundaround today, and he happened to pick up the Marvel Legends Joe Fixit Incredible Hulk and Patch Wolverine 2-pack that I have pre-ordered at Big Bad Toy Store, but Soundaround was able to get it already. Jim wound up grabbing one of those, but Jim also told me that they had a Goblin Queen at Soundaround, but it wasn't in a location where the regular figures were, so he has since, I stopped by Soundaround on my way here today just to see if I could find that Goblin Queen figure. I wasn't able to find it, and I saw Paco at Soundaround, Just Incredible Cosplay. You should follow him on social media. The guy does amazing cosplays, and he works at Soundaround, and he does reels and these videos for comic pulls. So if comic books are your thing, check out Just Incredible Cosplay because he's got some amazing content. But I even saw Paco, and we walked around the store and couldn't find the figure where Jim said it should have been. But Jim has since updated his information a little more clear since I got here and started recording. So I am going to stop by Soundaround one more time on the way home just to double check. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for watching the episode of the show. Really had a blast opening up this Cyclops figure, and pay attention to my social medias because I'm going to be opening up these other figs over the remaining days and weeks in April. My name is Ian Daddybones. Thank you all. I'll see you next time. Cheers, Pete. You will not be forgotten, Virgil.
Fuck Ian Daddybones. Fuck Twin Widow, whatever the hell it is. No one gives a shit about you, Ian. Everyone hates you. Fuck off.
Oh my god, I'm so excited, having a banger and you're all invited. Share with friends and I'll see you later. Bring everyone, invite my haters. Throw your hands in the fucking air. Let's push a cripple down a flight of stairs. Got new shit right for your ears. My Hadouken is downright fierce. Rock out with my cock out. Jump around, I got your shout outs. I'm Daddybones, no need to panic. Talking riddles like a schizophrenic. 24/7, I got the party. Roofie roos and whoop-de-doos. Retarded fools with attitudes, bro. Everything's mixed with Bacardi. Glow stick black like tons of bubbles. Titties on bitches, nothing but trouble. Got my pills, ain't no quitter. Pop that shit, here comes my glitter. Not a dancer, I got no skills. Bobbing my head and standing still. Tons of bitches, ravers, goths. Down to fucking get your salad tossed. It's the greatest thing that you ever saw. Put your hands in the air for a party. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a bang and you're all invited. Kids posing, muscles flexing, trains dressed like your favorite X-Men. If there's one thing that drives me crazy, you give high fives but you fucking hate me. Might have rabies, might have herpes. Breastfeed me and you'll have to burp me. I'll be up on stage, throwing out beads, grabbing my dick and spraying my seed all over your face. That's fucking rude. Raise it up and show your boobs. Dance around and go friggin' nuts. Just b-boy stance and light your blunts. Don't be a cunt. Tuck your chain, don't start no shit. Use your brain, it's all a game. Let's play some Yahtzee, eat Tide Pods and punch a Nazi. Not a dancer, I got no skills. Bobbing my head and standing still. Tons of bitches, ravers, goths. Down the fuck and get your salad tossed. It's the greatest thing that you ever saw. Put your hands in the air for a party. Oh my god, I'm so excited.